Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bull Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Fonta, Flora Brewing Company out of Morganton, North Carolina. But this one isn't just from Fonta, Flora. It's also from AMB, which is Appalachian Mountain Brewing. I forget exactly where. I think they're from... I honestly don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they're close to Morganton. But this beer is called Budan. It is a coffee IPA, which to me those are very, very hit or miss. A lot of times they range anywhere from an IPA that just has a little bit of coffee flavor to basically a coffee blonde ale. It's just straight coffee and not really any hops. So I'm really interested to see how this is. These guys, most of their stuff they play pretty close to the cuff in a sense that they don't like. I don't imagine this is going to be completely loaded with coffee, but I have no idea. It says it's dry hop with Citra, Centennial, and Chinook. So, and it also specifically says fermented until bone dry. So that's interesting. And this is 6.6 ABV. Crack it open and see what we got. So the interesting thing about this too is I think this is the first time this was ever packaged, or like this is brewed by Fauna. They've done this beer before. I haven't ever had it because I'm newer to the area, but I researched it. They've done this beer before, but it's always been like an AMB release with their logo and their bottling and everything. So I'm guessing it was brewed there prior, probably just because they were the bigger brewery. But now that Fauna Flora has the production system, I guess it makes sense to brew there, and it also gave me a little more faith of the quality of it. So, as you can see, it pours a cloudy, darker golden color with a smaller white head, but it's not really going anywhere. Huh. That is interesting. That is a really, really nice balance between coffee and hops. I don't usually it goes one way or the other, but it is pretty much split like 50-50. Like at first I thought it was mainly coffee, but the more I breathe in, like some of the earthy character that I thought was from the coffee, I think is actually from the hops. And it smells like really nice, fresh roasted, like deep black coffee, and then a nice but sometimes coffee can have like a citrusy note too, so that's what's interesting. There's like an orangey, citrusy, and earthy hops to it too. It's really, I don't think I've ever had a coffee IPA that was like that balance between the coffee and the hops aroma, so we'll see. So the flavor's pretty balanced too. I will say if there was one way that it was leaning on the aroma, I would say it was the coffee. In the flavor, I would say if there's one way it's leaning, it's the hops. I'm definitely still getting coffee flavor, but it's playing a little bit of a backseat to the hops. Definitely like earthy and orangey hop character with like some roasty bitterness, and to me it seems like the bitterness that it has is coming from the coffee more than from the hops, which is interesting. But the bitterness is I will say it's hanging around there. And now, like that drink I just took, to me was actually more coffee than hops. It's interesting. Um, uh, it's kind of, I will say though, the detriment to this beer is because both of those flavors are pretty prominent. It's like they're kind of canceling each other out. Like I can't really, and that doesn't mean that it ends up being a boring, dull beer, but I can't really get to the depth of the coffee or the hops because the abrasiveness of each one is kind of covering up the complexities of the other, which is kind of unfortunate, in my opinion. I will say I think it's pretty well done for this style, if that's a thing. Because I've definitely had other coffee IPAs, and this is one of the better ones. I also just it doesn't sound kind of gross, but I also just burped, and usually you get like hot burps, or sometimes if you're just drinking coffee, you get coffee burps. So this was literally just a blend of coffee and hot burp, which is interesting. Don't think I've ever had that happen before. But I will say for the style, this is pretty good, but it's still just really not my cup of tea, or I guess I should say my cup of coffee. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird combination for me. So again, this is another one of those Fonta beers that I think they actually did it really well based on the ingredients that went in the beer. It's just not necessarily my favorite thing. So I'm gonna give this one a drink because it's fine. I don't mind drinking it. It's really clean and easy to drink, but I guess easy to drink is, I shouldn't say that. It's really clean. There's nothing off-putting about it in a sense that there's brewing flaws, but it's just, to me, the two flavors just clash. And that's all. I feel like that's always kind of going to be the case. Honestly, the only reason I bought this is because they made it, and I thought maybe I would like the coffee IPA because it was from them. And if there's a style I don't like, which is very few things, but I wouldn't really consider this a style. This is definitely a sub-style. If there's one that I don't like, there's a good chance if there's going to be one I would like, it would be made from these guys because they do everything pretty well, but I'm still just not feeling it that much. So I'm just going to give this one a drink. I have no problem drinking this. It's still, like I said, really clean. But I wouldn't go out and buy I only got one can of this. I wouldn't go out and buy a 4-pack of it. It's just, there's too many other beers that I like more than this to buy this again. And that's not just to say in general. I mean, there's way too many Fonta beers I like to buy this. Like, I would still give them just as much business. I would just buy something else from them because almost everything else they make is great. So, yeah, this one's just a drink for me. But again, no fault to these guys. It's just the style it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.